Hey y'all, we're back with another garden tour. This time we are at a school garden. So we're at Morningside, which is in Fort Worth. This is a garden that I work with a company called Made Green, and we're gonna do a little tour of it. We had some fruit trees planted out here. We got a fig tree right here. Got some figs growing on in here. None of them are ripe yet, but they're on their way. One fig is ripe. And you can see we got some probably squirrel damage going on up in here. So this area has 25 growing beds. They're about maybe like 4 feet by 8 feet, built with bricks. So pretty cheap and easy way, but a durable way. So it's not, the beds are not made out of wood, so there's no rotting out that's happening. But in May, kind of the idea, since I'm not here very much in the summertime, try to fill these beds with really hardy crops and try to cover them with as much as possible. That's very not hard to take care of, kind of suppresses the weeds in the beds, but then also will give you some production of something, whether it's like a root crop or seeds at the end of summer, or fruit. And so we got tomatoes growing in here that we planted in May. I believe super sweet 100s. And they've been producing all summer. And then in here, lots of sweet potatoes. I've just taken over the whole area. And kind of tried suppressing some of the weeds. You got some grasses on the outside coming in, but a lot of it is pretty clean. A lot of it's just your, and then here's a melon, a black diamond melon. But yeah, the name of the game was just cover the soil, try to suppress weeds, something that's like really hardy. So the sweet potatoes and the melons are super hardy. They don't need to be watered much. But this bed did really well because you get sun almost all day versus these beds that get a lot of shade. And so we got melons, sweet potatoes, so when the kids start coming out, it starts cooling off, we'll have sweet potatoes that we can harvest, and that'll be fun. That'll be exciting. Another really hardy plant to grow in the summertime here is okra. And usually you'd want to space them out at least 2 feet apart, but again, just trying to cover the beds as much as possible. So we just planted by seed, so put seed directly into the soil, all this okra, and it's just now starting to produce in August. We've got these beautiful blossoms, good for talking about flowers and pollinators and where fruit comes from. And then we have, saw one okra, yeah, two out of okra right here. I believe this is either a Clemson spineless or emerald variety. So okra's great, beautiful, it'll take the heat pretty well. Got a melon growing in here. And then planted a lot of purple hulls. And so we'll be saving these seeds. So you can plant these in May, let them grow with the rains that come in May. They'll produce, and usually the summer will kill them, but you'll have, when you come back to school, you'll have these dried out pea pods. The plant will be dead and creating like a natural mulch in the bed, but you'll have these pea pods that you can save with the kids, with the students, as like an indoor activity, and talk about seeds and where plants come from in that life cycle. And then coming into these beds, so these are all black diamond melons, and they're growing out of the beds because of the building here, and the crepe myrtles are shading them out, so they're growing all out here. And we have several black diamonds that are coming through. Got a big one right here, and then the largest one, the oldest one, is this black diamond right here. And so melons are great because they'll grow, and they should suppress some weeds. Nut sedge is pretty bad, but it comes out pretty easily in these beds. again, you're just trying to cover soil and just try not to maintain it too much. But this black diamond, this is kind of what the outside will look like. It doesn't have stripes like a normal variety of watermelons. And what we're kind of looking for is, it's pretty big, but we're looking at this tendril here. Once this tendril actually dries out and dies and turns brown and crumbles up, that's a good sign that the melon is probably ready. The size is good. When you hit it, it should sound hollow. And then also where it's resting on the ground, you should have a deep yellow. This is pretty white, it's not quite ready. But it should be pretty yellow, a nice beautiful yellow spot. So this bed should have planted a lot more stuff in it, but we had arugula grown in the springtime, and so we just let it kind of go. So it's still alive, so the summer didn't kill it. So arugula is one of the more hardy greens that you can grow even in like warm temperatures. They've gone to flower, so we're not harvesting the leaves anymore, but what we're looking for, these little seed pods. When they dry out, it'll be great for seed savings. Planted a lot of sunflowers. They do really well in the summer. They're very pretty, they grow very large. By the time the kids will come back though, they'll usually be done, so they will have died. And these guys, you're gonna save seeds, you gotta be quick. The birds will get to them, or they'll drop them. But you'll have sunflowers the next year, and the next year after that, and the next year after that. Zinnias are amazing as well. They do really well. This one still has a little bit of color, but the leaves look really nice. The plant itself looks pretty nice. Some more arugula, so that's that dried out seed pod that we'll look at when saving seeds. We planted some daikon radishes, a very large radish, can get much bigger than what I'm showing you right there. But this is awesome for saving seeds. They'll create these seed pods similar to arugula, but they're a lot bigger. And when they dry out, they don't crumble as easily. But we'll save some seeds as well. Amaranth is another flower that does really well. This guy's part of the, it's a native part of the Solanaceae family. Oh, it feels really good. It feels very soft. It's a nice texture thing for kids. Don't let them eat this stuff, it's toxic. But it kind of looks a little bit like a tomatillo, a little bit. I believe it's called a datura. But produces a really pretty flower, and it's native, and it'll self-seed every year. So we got this stuff growing in one of the beds with the sweet potatoes alongside it. So we got sweet potatoes pretty much in every bed. A lot of flowers over there, and then down further are all of your watermelons, your okra, and your peas. Here's a fun plant that's native south of us. So not native here, but it looks like it's doing well, and it looks like it can grow in the shade or partial shade. It is a root beer plant, and so the leaves taste a little bit like root beer. I think what they usually do is they'll use these leaves in cooking. You can make it into like an herb, dry it out, make it into an herb. Also, people will wrap rice and fish and meat and things like that, kind of like a dolma. Like a Central American, South American dolma. Yeah, so, but this is fun. It's got a nice smell to it, a nice taste to it. When you tell kids it tastes like root beer, that's real exciting. And then if you think about growing, what to grow in the winter time in a school garden that takes very little maintenance is cilantro. So this guy grew through the winter time, and it self-seeds, so we didn't plant it. It just will come back every winter time, or when the temperatures start to cool off. And obviously this guy's been dead for a while, but it has its seeds right there, so we're going to save those seeds as well. Or what's called coriander. That's what coriander is. It's cilantro seeds. All right, lots of sweet potatoes. So So I started these sweet potato slips in February, and that's something you can do with students and kids. Real easy. You just take a sweet potato, either from last year's crop or from the store. Try to go organic. You take the sweet potato, you get like a little bin, and fill it with soil. And you can do this in the classroom. You put that sweet potato just in that bin right there. Cover it a little bit with soil. You can expose it a little bit, and what will happen is they'll start to send these shoots off. So there's a sweet potato in here that's sending these shoots, and you just wait till these shoots get to about 6 inches, and then you can pull it off, and then from there you can actually root these slips in water. And once they're rooted, you can actually transplant these slips into the ground, which is what I did in May with the students. And again, they're really hardy. They're not a true potato, but they grow like potatoes. And you can grow them through the summer, and you can you got to water them, you got to take care of them to some degree, but they're very hardy, and they should make it through the summer. All right, y'all, so that was Morningside, a little tour, a quick tour. So if you like that video, please click and subscribe if you want to see more. We're going to do more tours and highlights of other Fort Worth based gardens and school gardens, and tips on what to grow in a school garden, or just what to grow in general if you have a garden in this area. So thanks for watching. All right, bye-bye.